Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to check us out at bestyearever_pod on Instagram, bestyearever on YouTube and Blue Sky, or send us an email at bestyeareverpod@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe on all your preferred podcast listening platforms.
All right, let's start this shit.
Hell yeah. Welcome to Best Year Ever, a movie podcast where each week, one movie at a time, we attempt to answer this very important question. Was 1999 the best year ever for movies? Except this year, it's not 1999, it's 2019. I'm your host, Casey Glenn, and with me is my co-host, the indecisive, insecure, but adaptable, Jesus Gonzalez. Hi, Jesus.
Okay, I'm literally halfway around the world for a somewhat rash, but definitely very specific decision that I made. How the fuck am I indecisive?
So you're like, should I come back to Texas sooner? Should I not?
I literally just told you I was going to. But fine.
You know who else traveled around the world in a somewhat sort of rash decision? Every single character in this movie.
What movie are we watching?
We're watching Ari Aster's Midsommar.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you anything what I thought about this, but you told me, you texted me, I'm going to love it, but we're going to have wildly different takes on it. So
yes.
I want you to predict right now if I loved it or not.
Okay.
And what's going to be my general take on this? Like, what do I think this is about? Just to preface this, I already told you that I read this was about a little bit of grief, but also a breakup. And that's all I read about it. I kind of knew some of the spoilers. I kind of knew what it was about a little bit. This surprised me a lot, but I want you to tell me, get into my brain.
Okay, so I think you're acting a little too cool right now. So I think you did really enjoy it, but I think you're trying to conceal it a bit to like throw me off my guard. I think you enjoyed it, maybe not loved it. But I do think at the end of the day, you will give this like, yes, best year ever, because I think it would be absolutely ridiculous not to. And I will judge you if you don't. But I think the way that you're going to see this movie is yeah, this is fucked up. Avoid cults. This is a forewarning. This is avoid it. And for me, I love this movie, and where I think I'm going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum is I'm like, this is a love story. This is a love story for Danny and Pele, and I love it. I just want them to be together. And then that's where we're going to completely diverge. See, you're making a face.
This is interesting, because you're wrong. You're very wrong. You're also kind of right, but you're very wrong. When I watched this movie earlier today, I'm right now in Finland. I'm kind of experiencing Midnight Sun. When I finished this movie, Florence puked, wailed. You know how she cried? That's what happened. I had to stop, take a minute, bawled, and then I had to take a walk. Usually I'll go into like the behind the scenes or explain. I didn't do that this time around because I want this to be pure.
Yeah.
Not only did I love this movie, I think it's creeping into my top 5 movies. I think I'm going to watch this movie a bunch. I am so mad at myself for sleeping on this movie. It's beautiful. I think it's close to perfect. I do have a worst actor ever in mind, and it's very funny. And the thing you said about avoid cults, that's where you're very wrong, because I'm all for this cult. I'm going to join this cult. I want the in. I'm going to be the person I'm going to be Pele. I'm going to bring in the stupid foreigners to be sacrificed.
So excited. See, I was getting a little cynical. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna think Jesus and I are gonna have wildly different takes about like the
I know
of the
you did.
But I'm so glad. I found a Tumblr post about because we'll do Letterboxd, and I've reviewed this movie 3 separate times. And I want you to go back and read my I think it's my second review, honestly. I love Pele. I love this movie. The reason why I don't give it a full 5 stars is because I can't get myself to do it, because I think it is a movie that I still find deeply unsettling, and it's still it's scary. The first time I watched this movie, and we'll talk about it. But the opening scene specifically. I first watched this movie. Samuel and I were living in Chicago. It was our first year of marriage. That's not relevant. But at the time, we didn't go to bed with the TV on. Every night now, we fall asleep with the TV on, just for background noise. But at the time we didn't. We fell asleep in complete silence. After we watched this movie, both him and I like just silently like were awake like for another like hour, 2 hours, like didn't talk to each other because we both thought the other person was asleep. Because, you know, I think it is relevant that it was our first year of marriage at this point. So we're like kind of like not really saying anything to each other. And then we both realized that the other person was awake. We're like, and I think it was me. I was like, I'm going to put something on the TV. I'm going to put on Bob's Burgers because I could not get the mental image out of like from the first like sequence. It like has truly scarred me. Like that is a mental image that will stay with me forever.
Which one?
The of her sister.
Well, I thought that was kind of silly.
Really?
I thought it was like, that's way too much effort. I mean, she was committed, but
she was committed. No, that's something. It still like haunts me. Like I still find it. That to me is the most terrifying part about this movie.
How do I find your previous reviews of this movie?
I don't know. Here,
I was trying to find it.
I can take a screenshot.
But you have so many reviews. I'm not going to go through all of them.
No, that's so valid.
Why look for that? So I will say, I don't think it's a love story between Pele and Danny. I think Pele's kind of a creep. He's weird. I didn't like him.
See, that's where we'll diverge.
See, I think he and I are similar. I think he and I are very similar with a very specific change, a very specific difference. I like to draw people. I've run you several times. I will never ever tell you, hey, keep this drawing between you and me as a secret. That's weird. That is a red flag.
For sure. I'll give you that one. I mean, he was trying to start shit.
No, he was manipulating them. I manipulate people, but usually it's not to kill them. So there's that. But I did just say that if I join this cult, I am going to be Pele. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. They're going to target you now. They're going to come find you. Bring in the new blood.
We're going to start soon. But so I've been here in Finland for a little bit. And Midsommar's coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, 1 week. So this is going to be releasing during Midsommar. Sweden and Finland has a friendly rivalry. They're very similar cultures. They're not the same. I just want to be very clear because people here are going to kill me if I say that. But very similar culture. So I found a lot of similarities. Oh, obviously, geographically, very close. The Midsommar sun is very real. I've told you this. At 3 a.m., it's on daylight already. It's weird. I do sleep through anything, so it doesn't affect me really. I just sleep. So there's that. And being here, I've been to a couple of festivals, and one of them had really cool bands, really cool music. One orchestra that I thought was relevant to this movie was Puto Pera. Puto Pera. When I saw it, it was silly. It was weird. It was amazing. It was strange. It was, once you get into it and you got over the silliness, it was almost transformative. And if you felt the spirituality behind it, which I think is how you should watch this movie, because this movie is silly at times, and it is comedic. Like Mark has great quotes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Also, totally called it like he was the first one to die. I mean, he wasn't, but of the friend group, he was the first one to die.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, Put Opera, recommend that band. It's on Spotify. I think it's a good companion to this movie. Did you figure out how to see your previous?
Yeah, I took a screenshot and I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp, okay. So let's get into Letterboxd. So, our very own Casey Glynn, you have 2 reviews. This last one, the latest one, the one you did for this time around. Bunch of flowers, found family, a bunch of more flowers. I don't think it was about found family as much, honestly. I think it was more about her finding herself.
Interesting. I agree with that to some extent. That's how they targeted her, is through the family aspect for sure, though.
Yeah. Well, I think it was more about her not depending on anyone, really, because she was kind of dependent on Christian, who's the villain of the story, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she was kind of dependent on her sister and her family, and then when that went away on Christian, he wanted to get rid of her for the longest time. But I think at the end, she found freedom. So I don't know if she's going to stay in the cult, really. I think she's going to be her own person. That's kind of what I took out of it.
I feel like it's a very optimistic way to look at this.
I know. But the second time you reviewed it, how long ago was this?
This was June 25th, 2021.
Okay, I'm just reading yours. I want to know what was happening to your mind in 2021. You actually gave it half a star less.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I want a sequel where the genre changes to romance and it just revolves around Danny and Pele falling in love with each other. Thoughts. Hard disagree. I didn't like Pele. Like I said, I kind of identified with him a little bit, but he was kind of creepy.
It's like taken me three watches to finally appreciate him.
Also, I don't think he cared about Danny that much. I think he just cared about his family. I think he was trying to lure her into this whole thing to be like the queen and all of that.
I do think he valued her for her, though. I think it was more than just that.
I think this is the one thing we're going to disagree about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's read out the reviews. A number one Gizmo fan says, imagine being left out of your family's suicide. LMAO. No. Her crying. And did she win any awards out of this?
I don't think so. I mean, Oscars always snub these types of movies. So there's I highly doubt it.
Truly. This other review, always great to see a feel-good movie about traveling, recognizing your worth, and wearing fun new accessories as you leave a toxic relationship with smiley face. Getting rid of a shitty boyfriend can be a real bear.
Love it.
Spoilers, the boyfriend dies in a bear costume. Or in a bear, really.
Yeah.
This next one, I am so glad Ari Aster clearly never went to therapy. This is very true. This one similar to yours, just a bunch of flower emojis. S, parenthesis he, B, parenthesis lie, V, parenthesis D, more flowers.
She believed, he lied.
Yep. So clever.
Mm.
The next one, Ari Aster said, yeah, grief is awful, but you know what's worse? White men. And then this last one, I thought it was funny. Just another normal day for the Skarsgård family.
God, there are so many other... This one is my favorite. Ari Aster's greatest horror yet. American students going on vacation in Europe.
I would have loved to see more of Mark just in Stockholm. Just like around Europe with American shenanigans.
Yeah, I think we can get a quick spinoff of Mark. He's most likely has already done a study abroad before. Let's get that movie.
I mean, I feel like Eurotrip is a prequel to this, but it's Mark in that movie. You want to get to the background? Midsommar, released in 2019 at a budget of $9 million, box office of $48 million. Yay. Written and directed by Ari Aster, edited by Lucian Johnston, music by Bobby Krilk. The score was amazing. Starring Florence Pugh as Danny, Jack Rayner as Christian, Will Poulter as Mark. Is Will Poulter hot?
Yes.
Don't know.
I think it's a definitive yes. When he was younger, absolutely not. Now, absolutely.
I think he's hot with a beard.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen him with a beard before. Oh, please.
Well, you haven't played Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, you keep doing it.
Wilhelm Blomberg as Pele, William Jackson Harper or Shiri Ayagori as Josh, and Isabel Grill as Maya. She didn't appear too much, but she was definitely integral to the plot.
Did you list the actor for Pele?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I gotta make sure he's included.
Wilhelm Blomgren. I almost listed the Oracle, Franz Rosengarten. Did you know the name of the Oracle was Bror?
Mm-mm.
I thought he was going to play a bigger part.
Nah, I think essentially the role of that is just to show there.
I think there was a lot of things that were around, and there were some
Mm-hmm.
There were some plot threads that started and either got lost in editing or were just there as flavor. But I feel like there were some things that weren't really touched upon after the first time.
I think, and I see this because I do love this movie. This is like the only Ari Aster movie I've ever seen. I'm not like really interested in watching any of the other ones, mostly because like I don't really like this genre. I like this movie specifically.
You do like this genre.
No, I like this movie specifically because it's so bright.
No, you like this genre.
So bright. Okay.
No, you like this genre. You like horror movies. I'm just telling you now about yourself.
But what I think is really great about this movie is, and the reason why I'm saying that maybe I'm just seeing this, like, I'm twisting this into being a positive thing, is that there are layers to it, right? Where you could probably like easily like there's probably a Reddit thread out there or some Tumblr post about like the Oracle specifically and like all these other things, like connecting it, like if you were like looking at this thing in the background and like blah 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 blah. But it's just like kind of there, so if you want to explore it you can, but you don't have to. Like you're just kind of going along with the flow, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Scandinavian, although this is not a Scandinavian country, Northern mythology, like the Blood Eagle. There's a lot of things around.
So, just a couple of fun facts to start us off. When the film was released in Sweden, rather than eliciting fear in the audience, many people laughed. So many Swedish critics praised this film as an excellent black comedy, which I think is so funny.
Yeah, no, just being here for a little bit over a month, almost 2 months, I can definitely say that is the sense of humor here.
That's crazy.
It was funny. There was some funny moments.
Yes, there were a few funny moments.
Yeah.
So 2 other fun facts. In the script, Danny and her friends all live in New York and her parents live in Minnesota. I would have never fucking guessed that.
I was guessing New York. I didn't know the parents lived somewhere else, but I was guessing New York for where they lived. Honestly, whenever I see a city, my first guess is either New York or Chicago. But for movies, I think most likely it'll be New York.
So all of these scenes were filmed in Utah. But I would have never guessed New York because like I see like a city, but it looks like an incredibly flat city. Like it looks like a suburb kind of city. Like that has like a lot of like sprawl. And so that's probably the thing that irks me the most about this movie is like I can't see New York in that. Like it doesn't look like New York to me at all.
That's a half star.
That's a half star. And then also, as of right now, this was my final fun fact. Despite the Swedish setting, the film was mostly shot in Hungary. I always find it interesting to figure out like where things were filmed. Growing up, you always think like, oh, this takes place in like, you know, Russia. They filmed in Russia. And it's like, no.
Mostly Swedish actors, right? I think
so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the film opens with a mural of a bizarre, eerie ritual taking place. And I mean, you easily, like, if you were to pause the movie, you can look at the mural and it's the plot of the movie.
I was going to say that's the whole plot of the movie. Yeah.
And it's a really beautiful mural.
The house and all that.
Yeah.
Is it beautiful or is it very creepy?
I think it's beautiful.
I don't. I just freaky ass sun over there. I don't like it.
That's Florence Pugh. You know, that's where you tag her.
That's so mean.
Well, no, that's the smile that she makes at the end of the movie.
Oh, my side hurt when I laughed.
Okay, old man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is what happens. Which we'll get into the breakdown of the ages of this, but I like that breakdown of the ages.
Yeah. We then see images of a dark, snowy forest with the sound of old folk singing playing in the background. We then have Florence Pugh. She's calling her parents, sent to voicemail. In this voicemail, she's expressing concern for her sister, who we later figure out is bipolar, which is I don't love.
It's a little problematic. It's a very simplification of a very complicated problem.
Oh my god, yeah. And like there are levels to bipolar as well. There's like bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Like there's just to slap bipolar.
I would have liked it. They kind of just talked to she has like mental issues or like something very vague.
Yes, I think it would have been better if it was more vague for sure.
Also, I think bipolar is kind of an outdated term, right? No. For this kind of like issues.
No.
Okay.
You would still like say like I have like bipolar like disorder. It doesn't have like a new term.
Okay. It's not manic depressive. That's the old term then.
Yeah, I think manic. Yeah, I think.
Or is that something?
I think it's just a more generic term, manic depressive.
Okay.
So her sister is named Terry. So she's calling her parents. She was like, "Hey, Terry sent me a really weird email. I just like wanted to check in." She's like freaking out. She's biting her nails, and she then calls Christian, her boyfriend, who is hanging out with his buddies, Josh, Mark, and Pele. And they're at a pizza parlor, but I guess they just smoked some resin. I have no idea what resin does to somebody. I don't know what it is, but I guess they're having some pizza.
There's a lot of drug use in this movie.
There's a lot of drug use in this movie.
Which is why I want to join this cult.
She calls him. We see them having this conversation where he's like, your sister's just manipulating you and you're falling for it and you're enabling her and just hella fucking victim blaming.
Immediately, I wrote Christian douche. Yeah. Immediately.
Christian is the fucking worst.
He deserved everything that happened to him.
Straight up. There's this Reddit post on like r/Midsommar of this person being like, I watched this movie with my guy friends and they all like think Danny is the worst. And everybody was like, drop your friend group. Like, drop him. Like,
wait, Danny's the worst?
Yeah, they hated Danny. And they were like, yeah, the guy friends they're like totally fine. They did nothing wrong. And she was like the only girl in this group of guy friends. Everybody's like, girl, get the fuck out of there right now.
Yeah, it's a group full of Christians.
Yeah, no, it's very problematic. But yeah, he just starts victim blaming her and not at all validating her concern. Nothing of the sort. Nothing like, oh my God, like maybe like you should call for a wellness check if you're really concerned. Nothing. We do see when she's leaving the voicemail, we get a pan of like the home phone and then it like pans to her parents. Her parents are still breathing at this point in time. They're probably not conscious, but they are still breathing. God. So
I know.
They hang up. She calls her friend. She's like, I can tell that like he's pulling away. She's like freaking out about like Christian. And her friend is like, bruh, I don't know. Like this, you're supposed to like lean on him. Like if he's being a piece of shit, that's on him. Like you're doing nothing wrong. Like she's really trying.
Both these group of friends are trying to separate them, Danny and Christian.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're clinging on to each other for very different reasons.
I don't fucking know what Christian. I don't know why he's clinging on to her. I guess he's just a fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate him.
He likes someone who he can manipulate, and he can manipulate Danny.
Yeah, that's true. She's talking to her friend. She gets a call from an unknown number. She answers it, but then we see him at the pizza parlor with his friends, and they're all talking to him. They're talking about the trip that they're going to take to Sweden in June. Pele's like, yeah, you can like fuck all these milkmaids. Ah ha ha ha. Already like trying to get Christian to like separate with Danny. And all of them are just fucking shitting on Danny. Mark hates Danny. He's like, she's just leeching off of you, man. Josh does this fucking weird ass thing where he's like, have you thought that maybe like you're just like wrapping yourself up in this drama so that you know, you don't have to think about the fact that you don't have a topic for your thesis yet. Just a fucking like, whoa. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Pele says nothing against Danny in this moment.
I didn't even notice Pele until I noticed him talking to Danny later on, which I thought was really clever.
Yeah.
Because he's not there to make friends. He's there to lure victims.
Yeah. I think we all learned that they're in the anthropology department.
I didn't know that until much, much later. I even wrote down, what are they studying?
That's so funny. But we see Christian make eyes at the waitress, you know.
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Yeah. He gets a call from Danny and Mark is like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, don't answer it. And Christian's like, no, I'm gonna answer it. Mark does not move out of the way for Christian to get out, but Pele and Josh do. He answers the call and we get the whole Florence Pugh just no, like just
so good.
Yeah.
Panic, wailing, crying, acting by Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
I do want to mention real quick at the beginning where we get the folklore singing, hard cut to the beeping of the phone. Like this movie's full of really good contradicting sound hard cut and visual hard cuts.
Yeah.
Like I love the visual styling of this movie. I fucking love this movie. God damn it.
The phone ringing always makes me jump every single time because it's so loud. Like compared to like the nice like singing like harmony, it's just like ring and it's like When I was watching this movie, Samuel was upstairs gaming. We have surround sound, so it can get pretty loud. We have like a subwoofer. When Florence Pugh when Florence Pugh is crying, it was incredibly loud. I was talking to Samuel later. He was like, yeah, I thought it was you. And I was like, and you didn't come to fucking check on me? I said, are you kidding me? He was like, no, I realized that it was from the movie. I took off my headphones. I realized that was like Florence Pugh and not you.
That's
and then
so funny.
Like, yeah, sure you did. Sure.
You know what? He may have been in the middle of a raid or just trying to finish as a boss. Like, he had to. He had to finish up.
Yeah. Maybe it was my parents.
I am surprised that we didn't see Christian gaming online. That might have been like, he's definitely a Call of Duty gamer. Like, he definitely streams. He definitely streams his toxic alpha male Call of Duty streams. He
bought the Sydney Sweeney soap for sure. Do you not know about this?
I do not know about. I don't like Sydney Sweeney.
So she partnered with the Sasquatch brand, I think, and they made like a limited number of soaps that include her bathwater in them, and the soaps have a hole in it. Jesus, the soaps have a hole.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, does he have her pubes also?
Probably, yeah.
This happens in this movie, which I thought something else, but that's disgusting.
Yeah, I hate this world.
That is disgusting. But also, hey, dude, if you could make money out of your bathwater, I mean, I would do it.
I love that for you. I don't think I could. We get this great moment where Christian is walking up to her apartment, and even though she's gone through the most traumatic thing, one of the most traumatic things I could ever fucking imagine.
Did we say what happened?
No, do we see him walking up to the apartment first?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
He's walking up to the apartment. Homie is terrified out of his fucking mind. He does not care about rushing to get there, to like be there for her, to help her, to support her. He is scared to like go in there because he's like gonna have to like be a decent human, is what I believe he's actually afraid of. We get this great, fantastic sort of walkthrough of the situation that she was called about. Her sister is mentally ill, and what she has done is she bought some, I guess, fucking long ass hoses, because you don't just have those on hand. This is premeditated.
Oh,
this is why I hate that it's like labeled like specifically to like a bipolar disorder, and not even like bipolar with psychosis. Like that would even be better for me. But it's just bipolar, which is like really frustrating because I think
so many layers here. So much planning.
Yeah, and I get that, but to like plan it the way that this must have been planned is like a form of evil. I can't empathize. The depravity. I can't wrap my head around it. And that's why it's like so scary to me.
Well, because it's self-harm and also extremely narcissistic, because you are thinking that you have the right. I mean, again, I'm not just speaking from not being nearly close to this, but having grew up with an extremely narcissistic mother who thought that me and my sister were part of her, not individual people, but just being that part of like, and my mom was never suicidal or anything like that. But just thinking that if I'm leaving, then obviously my parents have to live with me, because like what are they going to do without me?
Yeah. No, it's just so fucking dark.
Yeah.
I
was giggling a little bit about the complexity, the Rube Goldberg device amount of things that this person needed to do to get the cars going, hosing up from the garage all the way up to the parents' room, sealing the parents' room, and also hosing herself up with like a sealed duct tape on her mouth. That was a lot of very effective and precise planning.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember the first time watching this and being like, no, like just like kind of like how Danny is of like the no, like just like the of like there's no fucking way. Like this is what happened. Both of the cars are on in the garage. The hoses have been duct taped to the exhaust pipe. The hoses have then been run upstairs into the parents' bedroom, into the crack duct taped, sealed, so that like it's just flooding that room specifically. And then she duct tapes it to her own mouth. This is the image when we get to the sister. This is the image that completely scarred me, specifically because there's one pupil blown out. And the one pupil blown out really just, that fucking freaked me out.
This one had a lot of really good body horror.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because at least like probably once a year on the Midsommar subreddit, there's somebody that's like, Pele killed Danny's family to get her into the cult. And no. And everybody's like, the sister, it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you get carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, and you're tunneling it straight to your fucking mouth. Like, yeah, you're going to fucking throw up.
My mom and sister almost died from this carbon monoxide. Because I got home and the moment I opened the door, it hit me. And then I go up and my mom and my sister are up upstairs. And my sister was like a toddler. Yeah.
Shit. Oh my fucking God.
So if I didn't get there exactly at the time, I would have lost my mom and my sister. And my mom threw up. My sister, I think, because she was kind of lower in like her crib, it didn't hit her. So she was fine. But immediately opened up everything and they were fine. But yeah, I almost happened to me accidentally to my mom and sister.
That's fucking terrifying. That's why carbon monoxide has a smell. It's because it doesn't have a smell and it's like regular form.
It's added to it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Before we get too much into the movie, further from the pizza place scene, the pizza place has a picture of Jane Mansfield, Sophia Loren. There's a much more famous picture of both of them where Sophia Loren is looking at Jane Mansfield's boobs. And it feels like, I think it was just kind of unfortunate, but it's always been a really famous, fun picture of the jealousy between the two women. The fact that Ari Aster shows a similar picture of them enough to convey that type of like, I don't know if it's jealousy, but this whole movie has an underlying sexuality or restrained sexuality.
Yeah.
And the fact that he shows the picture right before the overt sexuality between the two of those actors, I think that was on purpose. I think that was something that he put in there. I don't think that was just accident. Maybe I'm reading too much up in it, but I did write down boobs real big.
Yeah, I don't think you can read too much into this movie. I think this is a movie that is begging to be read into.
Honestly, yeah.
Because the next shot we get, it's several months later. We're in summer now. She's laying in her bed, and above her is a painting of of the bear, this little girl, and a little blonde girl in a white dress and a crown with the bear. Which I
wrote it down.
Yeah,
bear painting.
Exactly.
Not knowing about this movie, not knowing there's going to be a bear later on, that's on purpose.
Yeah, because it's a huge fucking painting too.
Yeah.
Also, something I want to call out, we later figure out that at this point, Christian and Danny have been together for almost 4 years, and they do not live together.
Yeah.
Weird. Red flag.
I mean, you and I can't say because we moved in with our partners really quickly.
I mean, yeah.
So we're not people who should comment about this because we're the weird ones.
I know.
Casey, we're the weird ones.
But you know what? I bet Danny wanted to live with Christian. I bet Christian said no. So that's why I'm taking it as a red flag.
That's true.
They're at the apartment and he's like, hey, I'm just going to stop by this party for a little bit. It's so hard because Christian will do these small things that in and of themselves are not problematic, but then added together with everything else are problematic.
Very manipulative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the party, he's like, oh, I don't know. We may be going or not. Who knows? It's in 2 weeks, whatever. First of all, I was writing 2 weeks. You don't have a plan to Europe. Also, he definitely was going. He already had the ticket. So there's that.
Oh my God, I want to kill him. Yeah. So also the weird thing, we learn that Christian, I don't think we learned this yet, but it is for a fact that Christian and his friends are all in a PhD anthropology program. Danny, I don't think it's explicitly stated, but in like the facts of this movie, she's an undergrad. I don't know. I think that's a little bit interesting.
Young PhD candidates, I feel are very accurate to these type of personalities. Having known a few of them, most of them are kind of douchey or snooty at the very least.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't have a PhD.
I'm surprised too. I want one just for the like regalia, honestly.
I'm thinking about getting a master's. I don't know if I told you this.
Oh Oh, that's cool. You should
I might get a master's in animation next year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grad school's great. It can be. Anyway, Christian's like, I'm just gonna go stop this party, and Danny was like, I'll come. Sure, why not? Like, I should probably get out of the house. They go to this party, and Homegirl is fucking disassociating like nobody's business. She is physically there, and that's it.
The sound design is amazing.
Yeah.
Because you can immediately tell that just by the sound design.
Yeah.
And Florence Pugh's acting, which is amazing.
Yeah. She's like is in a circle with Christian and all his friends and like some random guy. And then the trip gets brought up. And I think in the script it's actually Pele who specifically brings up the trip, indicating that he's trying to like reveal this info to her. But somebody else brings it up. We get this amazing shot, so like the sound like clicks for her, like she's like actually in the moment. It's not just like muddled. She's like, what? She makes eye contact with Pele. We get the camera perspective from like her point of view. Pele is looking right at her, like making sure she blocks this.
This is the first time you kind of start taking notice of Pele.
Yeah. Like just staring right at her for like a
because he's a creep.
No, disagree. He cares about her. I'm gonna send you the whole like 10-part fucking Tumblr dissertation prospectus thesis about Pele's love for Danny. So she kind of is like, oh, when is that happening? Like she's like asking more questions. They're like, it's in 2 weeks. You can tell Christian's friends are like very weirded out. Christian has not told her at all. They get back to Danny's apartment, or I guess I should clarify. So they're going to Sweden for the Midsommar celebration in Haga, where Pele grew up. The celebration occurs every 90 years. About 9 days.
Sorry, breaking news. Mia Goth, just because we're talking about indie movies. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Mia Goth is?
Mm-hmm.
She's joining the new Star Wars movie. Okay, go on. Weird Ryan Gosling. I am very excited about that movie. It's called Starfighter.
Very interesting. While they're talking about Sweden, Josh is particularly interested since he wants to write about that experience for his anthropology dissertation. So
Josh is, we later found out, more Midsommar in general because he's hitting different cities. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not, but that's his plan.
Yeah, that's his plan. So they get back to Danny's apartment and she's like, why didn't you tell me? She's like not upset that he's going. She's upset that she didn't know, which is a very valid thing. He's basically twisting it on her. He invites her to be nice or to, I guess, just kind of like get over it. I don't think we realize this yet, though. They're just like talking about it.
He just tells his friends that like the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the second time I write douche under Christian. 2
great things happen in this scene. We get this nice moment where she's talking to him and we see him in the reflection of the mirror, which is great. It's awesome. It's a wonderful shot. We also get this moment where she is, as he's like sort of twisting it back on her, she's trying to get him to stay because they don't live together. So she's like, no, stay. Like, I'm sorry. Like, she's doing that thing, which sucks. But she like is trying to get him to sit on the couch with her. This like incredibly small couch, which fucking took me out of the movie how small that goddamn couch was.
Did not notice that.
It does not even comfortably fit 2 people. There's no fucking way.
That's so funny.
I specifically mention her trying to get him to sit on the couch with her because we get an exact mirror of that later on with her and Pele. So calling that out now, flagging it.
Reaching.
Next, how it's not. I promise you, watch the scenes side by side. Exact same fucking thing. Oh,
were you watching this movie as a sort of love triangle between Pele, Christian, and Danny?
No, I just watched this movie with like a little bit more focus on Pele, like just like watching him a bit more closely. All right. And then I was just like reading about it.
I know I'm gonna rewatch this movie. I rented it, and then when I finished this movie, I bought it.
Nice, hell yeah! But the next day or the next time frame, I don't know. Christian is hanging out with his friends at their apartment. It's the same group of guys. Danny calls. He lets the group know. He was like, yeah, she's going to come up. And they're all like, oh, okay. He was like, oh, by the way, I invited her. But she's not going to come. But I invited her. But like, she's not going to come. But she accepted the invite. She said she's going to come. And
he's
all of
also
his friends,
manipulating his friends. Yeah.
Yeah. All of his, I think they fucking know better. They're like, oh, okay, sure. Pele, once again, not saying shit. Danny comes up. Mark, who does not like Danny in the slightest, is like, Christian, I need you to come review this paragraph in the other room. So the two of them go up and leave. I bet
before that, real quick, the composition of them in the couch, and then Danny and Christian in the mirror, it's so great. And then the camera flips briefly to Danny and Christian frame around the door, and then it flips back to them frame around the door in the mirror. Love that. I drew it. Like I want to paint a few of these frames.
Yeah,
this movie is great. I read a review that it's a slow start and there's a lot of things happening and nothing really happens until like the 1 hour mark. I strongly disagree. I was extremely engaged in all of these scenes even before they got to Sweden.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Mark and Christian go into the other room. Danny sits on a chair. Pelle makes conversation with her. I think she like asks him what he's drawing. He's like, oh, I'm just like drawing the table. They talk about the trip, and Pelle tries to get Josh involved in the conversation and is like, oh yeah, you know, Josh is like super interested in anthropology or whatever. Josh does not say anything in response and just kind of looks at Pelle and like, looks at Danny, and then he fucking walks out because he's a fucking dick. You're minimized on my screen, so I can't see it. What does it say? Just read it to me. You're so small on my screen.
Pelle is creepy. This is the first time I write it down.
Why?
He's a little creepy. He wants something out of Danny. I didn't think Mark was a douche. Oh, wait. Did you say Mark or Josh?
I said Josh.
Josh. I didn't think Josh was a douche. I think Josh was just uncomfortable because he felt Pelle's creepy vibes. And I like Josh. He's like, I'm just going to... This might be my bias because I love Shitty from The Happy Place. If you have not seen this man without a shirt... Yeah, the Good Place. Thank you. But yeah, if you haven't seen this man without a shirt, you should say what's a good place.
There's this moment later on in the movie where Danny comes up to talk to Josh. He acknowledges that she is walking up to him. She says something. He leaves his headphones on until she tells him to take them off. He hates her too.
No, he was kind of... First of all, he doesn't care about Danny. It's just fine. And second of all, he was kind of... He knew what was happening. He kind of was putting things together, and he was like trying to figure it out. So to him, the priority was like, these people might actually kill me because I'm kind of know what this ritual is now at that point. So he was not thinking about Danny at all. So I like Josh a lot. I think he was a good character.
Disagree. He was way too cocky to think that he was going to get caught, because even after the the ritual, he's like trying to get info. Like he does not think he's in danger in the slightest.
I think he was trying. I disagree. I think he was trying to get evidence. What?
No fucking way. Oh my god. No, he was too fucking infatuated with the shit that they were doing to think that it was bad. Are you kidding me?
No, because he knew what the ritual of the two old people. I think he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but he was giddy about it. He was so excited. He was like, "Oh my god, it's actually going to happen!"
And then after that, he was that was kind of messed up. But then a little bit after that, like he was catching up to what was going to happen. He should have warned his friends, obviously. But I think he was like a little bit in denial. Anyway, let's.
Yeah, you watch this movie again. You fucking
okay. I will.
Josh gets up. He's fucking making, and then he's like sits at the dining room table, and so
I thought it was funny.
Pelle asks her what she's studying, and she's like, I'm studying psychology. And she makes a joke. She's like, that's how you know how I messed up. He shows her, like, they talk about, like, what's going to happen. He's like, here's the previous May Queen, who we later see in the movie.
Casey, if you see a picture of, hey, this is my family farm, and you just see a bunch of white people in white robes with flower crowns, would you go there?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, I said I would totally join this cult, but I would fucking book it out of there. Like, fuck no.
I actually wouldn't, because, like, I don't see a shower situation. And, like, I gotta take a daily shower. We've talked about this. And so, like, if I knew that this was going to be more of, like, a camping thing, I would have been like, no, I'm not going. So,
but
like,
you know, Pelle would have lied to you until you're just totally a hot shower in there. He would have lied to you. He would have said that. Yep.
I disagree.
Yep. You would have completely fall for Pelle's charms, creepy charms.
I need you to, like, stop hating yourself for, like, 5 seconds and, like, see how amazing Pelle is as a person.
First of all, I think there's big differences between me and Pelle.
Well, you keep saying you're like, I'm Pelle. I see myself in him.
No. I said it once, first of all. Second of all, I said there's a big difference. No.
That's funny.
My family is not rich enough to have a suicide cult.
Yeah, fair enough. He does this thing where he's like, by the way, I want to let you know I'm like really sorry for your loss. Like, I've lost my parents as well. Like, I'm really sorry.
Which I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that is true.
It is absolutely true. Something interesting that I read, because I like looked it up. I was like, what's a regular year in Harga? Like, you know, we're seeing the Midsommar celebration. Something that somebody pointed out is that they probably have these sorts of like celebrations, because this one happens every 90 years or something like that. But they probably have this for every season. And so if you kind of space them out that way, there's probably one of these things that happens every like 22 years is what somebody has like predicted of like for different, how the seasons kind of like stack on top of each other, you know?
Oh, I thought it was every year.
No.
Okay, that makes more sense because they're like every year they're gonna four foreigners are gonna disappear. Nobody's gonna say anything.
Yeah, no, they only do that. Well, maybe now they do it like every 20 years. But what a lot of people think is that Pele's parents, maybe in the last one that happened every 20 years, when he was probably a younger boy, they were part of that sacrifice that happens later on.
He did. Okay, that makes sense. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Okay, I like it. I mean, that's not cool, but it's cool.
Yeah. So unfortunately, she's triggered by this, probably because Christian does not talk to her about her grief or loss in any sort of way, shape, or form. And so to get actual any sort of condolences probably freaks her out. She goes into the bathroom on the verge of a panic attack. She's crying. Get this great shot overhead. Boom. We're in a airplane bathroom, which is way bigger than a fucking actual airplane bathroom.
So big, but also I love the transition.
Yeah. Amazing transition. Another reason why maybe a half star is like deducted, because that bathroom took me out of it. I wish airplane bathrooms were that big.
Maybe she's very tiny. Florence Pugh is very tiny.
I think, shorter than Florence Pugh. I want you to know.
That's probably true.
Yeah. And I think I have a very similar build to her too. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. Fine.
Thank you.
Fine, half a star.
So we know that even though Christian was like, she's not going to come. She's not going to come. She came on the fucking trip. She's there. Cracks me up just how fucking wrong he is. So they're in the car. It's a 4-hour drive.
Oh, no. I think he knows she's going to come.
Oh, that's fair.
I think he fully knows. He's just lying to his friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's valid. So they're in the car. We get another great shot overhead, upside down.
And so fucking good. That's so good. I was trying to keep. I'm looking at it right now, and it gives me the creeps. It's so disorienting. It makes me nauseous, which is what it's trying to do. It's so good.
Yeah. So they go on this drive. It's about a 4 or 5 hour drive. They get there. They see everybody else who's returning from their pilgrimage, because a lot of times, because I even thought this, like even rewatching it, and I should have known this by now, but like a lot of people are there in normal clothes. And so it looks like there are a lot more like foreigners, like other people brought in, but those are probably also people like Pele and his brother Ingmar, who we're about to meet, who have just returned. And so the only foreigners that we know for a fact that are actually there are this friend group. So Danny, Mark, Josh, Christian, and then 2 people that Ingmar has brought, Connie and Simon.
Yeah. Poor Simon.
I think Connie was originally supposed to be Danny.
I think between the 2 brothers, Pele and I forget the brother's name, I think they brought the couple. So they brought who they thought was going to be the May Queen and did they have a name for like the breather or whatever? But so I think it was going to be either Christian and Danny or Simon and Connie.
Yeah.
But Simon and Connie freaked out more and they left.
Yeah. They tried.
But
I think that's why Ingmar kind of like gets sort of like punished and sacrificed at the end, is because I think at the end of the day, like Danny did not have to come, but it was great that she did. And so that's why I see Pele as like not as predatory in that nature, because I think they're banking on the people that Ingmar was bringing. And that's why he gets punished, because like basically if Pele hadn't like saved the day, they wouldn't have their May Queen. They wouldn't have their fresh blood.
Do you think I feel like the May Queen could have been one of them too, right? Because they just needed 4 foreigners to sacrifice. That's the only thing at the end that they kind of... Because it was 4 foreigners and then 4 from Hagar. But the May Queen, they didn't really specify they had to be a foreigner. The May Queen happened to have been Danny, but it could have been any any one of the other girls.
I think it absolutely could have been. I do think it was intentional that Danny won. I think they did plan that, but it didn't have to, like, for the sake of the ritual and all that kind of stuff. They all get there. They take shroom tea. Fucking Mark, I want to kill him. Because they're about to take some shrooms, and Danny's like, hey, I'm afraid I'm going to have a bad trip. Y'all go ahead. Christian's like, no, I'll wait with you, which then puts her, he's like, is doing the quote unquote nice boyfriend thing, but then it puts her in an incredibly uncomfortable position when Mark is like, no, dude,
not fuck Mark, fuck Christian. Like, yeah.
But Mark is like, dude, we gotta come up at the same time. So, like, you gotta take
She's not wrong.
And so Danny's like, fine, I'll do it. So, like, we all come up at the same time. They're all, like, sitting and chilling out, fucking high off their asses.
Very, very accurate high acting.
Yeah. Mark is probably having his version of a bad trip where he is just hella paranoid. He's like, what time is it? And Kelly's like 9 p.m. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Why is it so bright out? And, like, he just, like, starts freaking out about...
He's like, the sky is blue. Why is the sky blue?
He's like, everybody lay down. Everybody lay down right now.
He's already kind of laid down. It's so funny.
But he just needs everybody else to lay down as well. Yeah. Which is and
then there's like a new person walking by, like, I don't want a new person. Both Christian and Mark. Why is there a new person?
That is my favorite thing, where he like freaks out about the new person, and it's like, oh my god, that's so me. Like, that would be me. Of like, I can't do another new person. Like, no, like. I did like
the special effects a lot here.
Yeah.
Of like the grass going through Danny's hand, and then later on there's like a little wobble, very subtle wobble around.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Mark says, he's like, you guys are like my family. That snaps something in her. She freaks out. She's obviously thinking about her family. Her worst fear came true. She's about to start having a really fucking bad trip. She's like, I gotta go walk. I gotta go. She's walking. She like almost like walks to this like group of the other people that are there. And they're all laughing, but the trip makes her think that they're laughing at her. She freaks out. She like walks over. Ingmar's like, are you okay? She's like, they're laughing at me. He's like, no, they're not laughing at you. It's okay. She's like, I gotta go. So she fucking starts walking. She goes to the outhouse. She lights a match. In the reflection of the mirror, we see the image of her sister with the fucking just blown out pupil to duct tape to her face. She freaks out. And then 6 hours later, I guess. Or no, she dreams about her parents first.
Yeah, and runs into the forest.
Yeah, she runs into the forest. She dreams about her parents. I think they're like watching TV. And she like has this image of her like staring at her sister Terry. But 6 hours later, Christian wakes her up. I would fucking kill Samuel if he woke me up like this, because they're all just standing around her with like their fucking bags. And they're like, get the fuck up, bitch. And it's like not nice. It's like mean. It's isolating. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
So they're about to take their little hike to go to the village. Here, Mark is being very funny again. He is freaking out about ticks.
Yeah. They're fucking with him. They're fucking with him. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
So, fun fact, his extreme phobia of ticks is based on Ari Aster's real life fear of bugs and illnesses. So, like Mark, Ari wore 2 pairs of socks over his jeans to ensure he would not receive any bug bites while they were filming. Very funny.
Like that review said, so glad that very clearly Ari Aster didn't go to therapy.
Yeah. Homie said, no ticks here. They come into the space. It's very beautiful. Everybody is very welcoming.
Very creepy vibes. I wrote down here Dagny, the who Bella introduces her as his sister. Mm-hmm. It's creepy. I don't like it.
She was creepy, especially like because she didn't like say anything, and I'm like, can you like speak?
It's like the smile.
Yeah, but then they like meet his dad or whatever. Also, wait, hold on. The Christian shirt.
Not his dad.
Not his dad, like
dad. The father figure, yeah.
Yeah. Christian's shirts. He's got this fucking wide neck t-shirt.
I wrote that down. I was like, instant bad guy. Like the neck was so wide. Like instant bad guy. Like that. But I'm so glad you caught that, because especially when they were looking at the cliff and you were looking at them down. Like I was distracted. It was taking me out of the movie. Like I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's just great costume design and like wardrobe design for him. But like, God, it really it fucking speaks to how terrible he is. They're all kind of like talking, chatting. Josh is inquiring more about like the festival and the community and the mysterious golden teepee in the distance. And they're like, yeah, nobody can go in there. Leave it alone. They're all just like hanging out, chilling on the grass. Maya, they're doing like a little dance. Maya like is making eyes at Christian. She like playfully kicks him. And then I think Danny definitely clocks us because Christian's like, can anybody just like join in on like the little dance that they're doing? And she's like, bitch, what the fuck? She gives him a side eye. And
real quick, I think right before this is when we briefly changed because all throughout the whole movie, we've been with Danny's perspective, either Danny or Christian point of view. This is where we, for the first time, we changed point of views for a couple of times, but this is where we changed point of view from Maya. So we see her getting ready, getting up, and then joining. Yeah, so we get introduced to Maya here, which I think is very important because there's this other point of view from the cult.
Yeah. So yeah, Christian is her target. Oh, when Danny wakes up too, she's like, she asked the question. She was like, "Is it tomorrow?" And then Christian, in a dickish way, goes, "From yesterday's perspective, yeah." Bitch, just answer a fucking question. Earlier, she said, "Oh yeah, we're getting there on my birthday." So we know today is. Danny's birthday,
which Christian forgets, obviously.
Also, at some point when they're all walking around, they're talking to Connie and Simon. They're asking them how long they've been together for, and they haven't been together for a very long time. I think that's how we also get the story of Ingmar saying that him and Connie were dating, and she was like, "We went on one date, and I didn't even know it was a date." And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, we were just really good friends." Okay, bitch. Whatever.
Creepy family.
Ask Christian and Danny how long they've been together, and he goes 3.5 years, and she goes, it's 4 years next week.
Didn't she say 4 years 2 weeks ago? I thought she said 2 weeks ago. Maybe not.
Might have been 2 weeks ago. But no, I don't know. Yeah.
I thought it was 2 weeks ago, just because I'm like, oh, he clearly forgot about it. Also, it's very close to her birthday, so he should have remembered.
Yeah, for sure. So at some point we get Christian, I guess, is off doing something. Maybe he's doing a little dance. Pelle is sitting next to Danny, and he goes, "Hey, happy birthday. But like, don't tell Christian like I gave you this. It's a drawing of herself with the little Mayflower queen, May Queen flower crown." I
wrote down Pelle is creepy. Also, just before this, we get a very brief and quick glimpse of the Oracle. And it's clearly heavily deformed person.
Yeah.
Great makeup.
Yeah. So sad. I can't believe Christian forgot her fucking birthday. Anyway, so Pelle then shows them like where they're staying. At some point here, we get like the different phases. Did you write down what the phases are of like the life cycle?
Yes, but right before that, I did write it down. But right before that, they're walking around, and one of the people from the cult shows Josh some runes because they have like a runic alphabet system. And Josh is kind of the expert, or he's trying to be. And he's like, "Is this the early or whatever?" He kind of mentioned the alphabet. And then like, "Oh no, is he previous?" Like it's a very slight correction. And you just see Josh kind of defeated, like,
he's such a fucking jerk.
So sad. No, he was like, I got it wrong. No, shut up. I like him.
He was trying to show off.
He was trying to show off. I would have done that. I have done that. I think I'm more Josh than Pelle, honestly. I'm between Josh and Pelle, but I think I'm more Josh. And yeah, right before the seasons, he explains the seasons of the person. We also get a slight perspective change. Point of view change to Simon and Connie, because Simon and Connie go off also kind of away, and that's where we get another creepy painting mural of the love potion with the pubic hair, and that's like foreshadowing what's going to happen later. And also we get a glimpse of the bear. It's a bear in a cage, and Simon's like, "Is that a bear?" Like, "Yeah, it's a bear." Okay. Yeah. And then, but then yeah, you're right. Then we go to where they're gonna stay, and Pelle explains to them how they see the seasons of aging, and so spring is up to 18 years old, and then you stay in this cabin, and then summer is 18 to 36. Then we go on your pilgrimage. So you're kind of in the middle of that. Fall 36 to 54, and then your working age. And then winter the elders is 54-72. And then someone asked, I think it's Mark, someone asked Pele, so what happens in 72? And Pele goes playfully comical. And but actually he wasn't kidding.
Yeah. When Pele gives Danny the drawing of herself, like, as a birthday gift, she is absolutely delighted. She mentions that Christian did forget her birthday, but she's like, but like, don't bring it up to him. Like, don't make him feel bad, like, whatever. Later, when they get to the place where they're all staying, she's looking at the wall of the May Queens, and Pele pulls Christian aside. Like, you can tell that he's like saying, like, you forgot about her fucking birthday, dipshit. And he gestures to something because Danny asks a question about the May Queens. Before Pele goes over to her, he gestures towards Christian, like, hey, look over there, because he brought Christian a slice of cake to give to Danny. So he answers the question about the May Queens, and then Christian's like, Danny, come here. And they step outside, and the way that they're framed, it's Christian, and it's like in the background, it's this cult group, and they're holding a baby, and they're all kind of like surrounded, and then it's Danny. And so there are a lot of times where the way that the shot is framed is that Danny and Christian are like always separated by like a member of the cult. Yeah. And then sometimes like on the other side of Christian will be another like member of the cult. So kind of like boxing in Christian. But then on the other side of Danny, like it will be open, kind of signaling like she has like more freedom of movement, which is very cool.
It's a metaphor.
Oh, he is trying his damnedest to light this goddamn candle.
I know.
And it is
super bad.
Failing. And I kind of agree with this take that like I do see it as potentially, you know, possible that Pele dumped out the lighter fluid in the lighter to make it an even more shitty experience, which I would accept. I would be okay.
I thought you were going to say that Christian was a metaphor for later on him being impotent and he actually didn't produce a baby, which I was wishing. I wrote it down when the whole sex ritual thing. I was like, he's not going to get it up. He's not going. He did, but I was like, he's not going to get it up. He did have to have help. He did have to have help.
Yeah.
There was an old lady thrusting him.
And you fucking know the thing that he sniffed beforehand. You know that like that was to get him up and ready.
So speaking of up and ready, they're in this cabin, and there's one of the girls, one of the ladies walks by, and then Mark looks at her and he says, "Oh my God, I want to give her a bath."
So silly.
Mark has the best lines.
He does. Rest in peace. Not really. I don't think he ever successfully lights the candle, and she blows it out, and I think we cut to like the following day, maybe.
No, that's later than night when they. Pele tells them that they're gonna witness the stupa the next day, and Josh knows what this is, and he's like,
"Is it a real one?
Like actual? Like yeah, pretty real, yeah."
And then I think it's even in the script where it like notes that Pele is like banking on the fact that like Josh will want to like make that like doesn't want to tell his friends so that he has something over them of like, oh, you don't know what this is, haha. But in also the script, it was originally planned that Pele would give Danny a heads up and let her know, like, sort of what was coming. They changed this. I don't know why.
I'm kind of glad it did. It's kind of douchey, but
it definitely helps in the sense where, like, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. I think Pele made a gamble that was almost didn't pay off, but it eventually did. Anyway.
Because his brother didn't tell the British couple either.
No.
So there were. I think that was kind of the test of how did Simon and Connie reacted to that versus how did Christian and Danny reacted to that, and that's what sealed their fate. Like that's when like, oh, we're gonna sacrifice Annie and Connie because clearly they're not cool with this. Christian and Danny, on the other hand, maybe kind of cool with this.
Mark was fucking sleeping.
I love his reaction later on, like, man, I slept through the best things.
Crazy. Just fucking nuts.
Yeah, but if I slept through that and you tell me that happened, you know that would have been my reaction too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, I would have hiked the fuck out of that. I would I don't fucking care. I'm just going to walk away of this. Like, I'm going to sneak out.
It was
I don't care.
So interesting to watch Danny experience. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So at first, there's a feast. So two of the eldest villagers, Ylva and the laborer, are the guests of honor. They practice a breathing exercise before the whole community. community. I think they have a meal first. We see this happens multiple times. They're obviously at like the head of the table. The table does this great fucking formation where it like crosses over. And so
it's the shape of the rune.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it's a very specific rune.
And the way that it works is that everybody's standing. When the guests of honor sit, then it's a ripple effect. Everybody sits after that.
Yeah.
And then they wait, and then
great shot from the top.
Fantastic. Also, it is incredibly hard to choreograph a fucking ripple effect. It's just like people fucking suck at it. They probably had to practice this a lot more than you might think. And the same thing happens with eating. Once they like pick up their utensils to eat, then everybody does the same thing. So after that, they follow them to a cliff. The elders cut their hands as they walk by the edge.
I do want to point out that only the elders are dressed in a light blue. Everyone else is dressed in white. And the light blue kind of camouflages, because it's a grayish, bluish kind of dye. So it kind of camouflages with the rock, with the cliff they're going in, which I like. I really like that.
They cut the hands, both palms, and they like put it on this like stone. They are all watching. Ylva walks to the edge of the cliff. I think somebody else, the other lady who is kind of like the leader, I forgot her name. I think she like says something. Civ is her name actually. They do a little bit of a ritual. Ylva looks down at Dani and makes like very pointed eye contact with her. People suspect that probably when Dani becomes part of this community, as is like the common interpretation is that she stays here, is that Ylva will be her next name. Like that's the name that's going to get passed on. It's interesting.
I do think she leaves, but that's my interpretation.
I love that for you. You also think Josh is a good guy, so you do you.
I didn't say good guy. I say I like Josh. I didn't say he was a good guy. I love him. It's a difference.
Right before Ylva jumps off, Dani like clicks. She like grabs onto Christian. Ylva jumps. She jumps the proper way to kill herself.
The other guy, what a dumbass. Who jumps feet first? Who jumps feet first?
Crazy. Just asinine.
You know what? I saw before all this happened, where they were still I saw the guy with a mallet and like Chekhov's mallet.
So funny.
He's going to clever someone with that.
We get a great shot as the next guy is walking up. Once again, great sound design too. She's sort of disassociating again. You hear Simon and Connie just fucking screaming their heads off. Christian and Josh are like freaking out, but they're not like loud about it. They're just kind of like moving around. Her and Pele are like standing in the exact same position, making the exact same face. Like they are just, she's won. She's part of the fucking community already. There's so many times where she will mimic what Pele is doing, and I think that's incredible. And incredibly intentional too. She watches stoically as the next guy jumps off the cliff. She's numb to fucking this agony, this grief. She is just, once again, disassociating. He jumps, feet first, shatters his leg, moaning in agony. This is where we get the vibe that these people are just really empathetic, truly, because they all start screaming in agony just as he is. The joke about them being empathetic is like, that's a joke.
Okay. I was getting a little bit worried. Like,
no, I'm making fun of people that are like, I'm just an empath.
I do love that Dani's reaction when we get that reaction shot of her, of Florence Pugh. You get this really cool bokeh effect around her that everything's kind of blurry and circular and like it's tunnel vision. Fucking amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So as everybody is like mimicking the sounds, which is something that they do in this community, 3 villagers then pass around the mallet and fucking smash his head in. Really excellently done body horror, which I don't love. I never watched the Saw movies because I hate body horror. I have to look away during the scene. Like every single time, I'll like look away.
And I was thinking about barbecue.
Because you're fucked up. That's so fucked up.
Well, not in this scene, in the next one, which I don't know if it's better or not. Probably not.
Simon and Connie are, once again, freaking the fuck out. The elder villager woman, Civ, is explaining, like, this is part of the ritual. She was like, it's better to die off, like, when you have meaning to your life than just kind of become nothing and, like, needlessly, like, prolong your life. I love Civ. I think she does a great job at being, like, the cult leader, like, elder woman.
Yeah.
She does a great job at explaining it in a way that's like almost kind of makes you feel like you are like judgmental and like too much of an American for like judging their process. Like she does like a really great job at being like, this is our belief system. This is our culture. Like this is like what we truly like. She makes it seem so genuine because I do believe that like for them it is genuine.
Yeah. Especially if it's every 20 odd years. because I was thinking, I first thought it was every year. I'm like, this is too much. But if it's every 20 some years, and Pele said this is a lifetime opportunity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm okay with I believe that.
What I think is every 20 years is the new people getting sacrificed. I do think the Atastupa happens every time somebody turns 72.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it every time on your 72nd birthday, or is it on your 72nd year, and then you just get a group of 2 or 3 people, and then that happens at the same time?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And then they kind of this time around, we have this 9 people death ritual thing. You happen to be 72 this year, so we're going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think also you can tell that they're incredibly intentional about when people are born. Pele was born on the exact same day as Dagny, or whatever her name was. They're just very intentional about star signs and all this other stuff too. So I think it is possible that they might postpone it a bit, or maybe they've pre-planned it, because this community has been around for a very long time.
I want to share this with you before we get too far along. Do you know what Dinosaurs was? The show? So it's on Disney Plus. I highly recommend. It's a sitcom making fun of sitcoms about a family of dinosaurs. And there's a plot point where Errol, who's the dad, boss, who's this belligerent, narcissistic businessman that always wear either a red or blue tie, runs for president against this senile, bumbling dumbass. And then I'm not making this up. This actually happened in the show. Any similarities to reality is pure coincidence. And then Earl, the dad, ends up creating the extinction that killed all the dinosaurs by obeying his boss. Anyway, there's an episode called The Great Hurling, or Hurling Day, and it's basically that. And he's very excited because he gets to throw his mother-in-law into the cliff.
Push. Okay, Ethel, I wrote this speech. Here, you can read it on the way down.
Earl, stop! Okay, I'm ready.
No, you're not, Grandma. You don't have to go.
What?
Dad, 1,000,000 years ago, some old dinosaur did what was right in his time and created this hurling thing. Now you could do what's right in your time and go down in history. You could be a legend among dinosaurs. Or you could have the momentary satisfaction of throwing Grandma off the cliff. Now, I think you should think about this long and hard.
Watch your toes, son.
Listen, Dad.
No, you listen. This is my moment. This is the time when the lowest of the low can stand shoulder to shoulder with the highest of the high. If I lose this, Robbie, then my life means nothing.
Well, then I guess my life means nothing, Dad.
What are you saying?
When the time comes, I'm not throwing you.
Why the hell not?
Because you're my father, and just because you get old doesn't mean you're not my father anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Hello? Hello? Am I suddenly invisible? Why doesn't somebody ask me how I feel?
Well, how do you feel, Mother?
I'm an old dinosaur. There's no safe place for me anymore in this world.
You could live with us in Dad's den.
That's it. They're both going over. Today? Do they have to change today? She's just an old dinosaur, Fran. She's just going to be in the way.
She's only old because she's lived a long time. Maybe there are things we can learn from her. Maybe the way we treat our old dinosaurs is wrong. Maybe it's better to keep them than to throw them away.
Grandma, just tell him you don't want to go.
Robbie, darling, I've done everything there is to do in this life. At my age, what do I have to live for?
Fran, I am not letting your mother move into my house and spend the rest of her days making my life miserable.
Take me home, dear.
Yeah, just shut his fucking mouth. He would have gotten what he wanted.
Yeah. Anyway, great show. By the way, the mom, not the grandma, but the mom, that's Katie Seagal, Lilo, and yeah, amazing. Yeah. Anyway, Dinosaur did it better, but go on.
So as they're all walking away from this ritual ceremony thing, Dani breaks off from the path and is running because she's about to fucking have a crash out, understandably. You hear Pele under his breath in his language say shit, the equivalent of he overplayed his hand.
Yeah,
he fucked up.
Yeah. Speaking of languages, sorry. Mm-hmm. Especially in the beginning of this, if you watch this movie subtitled, whenever the cultist and Pele and his family say "hey," the subtitle is "hey," hey, Hey, but they're saying "hey" H-E-J, which is hi in Swedish. They're saying hi. They're not saying hey. They're saying hi, which here in Finland, you say hey, H-E-I, or you say moi, or moika, or hey, which I think is adorable.
Thank you for sharing. Yay.
Anyway, go on.
So she freaks out. She finally goes back to the cabin. She's the only one there. She starts packing up.
Well, right before this, because that's when Pelle really puts the moves on Danny. But right before this is Christian and Josh. And this is where Josh is writing down what happened. And Christian is like, I'm going to steal your research because I'm a douche.
Yeah. Christian's like, I want to do my thesis on Harga. And Josh is like, what the fuck? He's pissed. And Christian's like, but you're doing like Midsommar. Like, I'm going to do like Harga specifically. So he's pissed off about that. And he's like, well, I'm going to ask Pelle and I'm going to do it too. You know, she has her moment. She breaks down. They, I guess, leave. She goes in. She's packing up. Pelle checks out the situation. And he's like, basically, he's like trying to be like, don't leave, please. Like, and the way that he originally tries to like explain it to her, it's like not working. He can tell she's still freaking out. He tries to give her this like sniffing thing to calm her down. She's like, absolutely not. This is where I think we get a mirror of like how she was treating Christian in the start of this movie, where she's like, please sit, because he does the same thing. He sits down. He's like, please sit. Thank you. Nothing is like convincing her to stay. I think Pelle is trying really hard to convince her to stay because I think he knows that at this point, if she tries to leave, they will kill her. So he is really trying his best to like make sure that like she doesn't die. Do I think Pelle has genuine interest and care into Danny? Absolutely. Do I think that he has a skewed view of what interest and care looks like? 100%. That's what I'll say. He realizes everything he's saying is not working on her.
I think he's trying to woo her into the community. Like there's a romance, but it's not like it's 100% monogamous. It's not like he wants to be with her. He wants her to be with his community.
I think it's a little bit more than that because of how many times he like makes like sort of like a longing glance towards her. I think if he wanted her for community purposes, I don't think he would be so emotionally invested as he is into Danny specifically. Like even without Danny realizing it, he do be making lots of eyes at her, I gotta say.
Yes.
Nothing he's saying is working on her to like get her to calm down, to convince her to stay. Finally, he is vulnerable and he like actually like reveals himself. He's not using these prepackaged answers that he has ready. He's like, my parents died too. I lost them. I was young. But like the difference is like I didn't feel the loss the way that you're feeling this loss. Like, and she's like, it's not about that. He goes, no, it is. Like, this is what it's like. He was like, I have always had a family. I have always felt held. And he holds her hand. He was like, do you feel held? Does Christian hold you? And she's like, Christian could walk in at any moment.
I 100% thought. I wrote it down here. Like he's putting the moves on her, not to fuck, but to sacrifice. I thought she was going to be sacrificed 100%. I thought like she was going to be the May Queen and then get sacrificed. That didn't happen, but I still think it was more seducing her for the family as a whole. Maybe he has feelings for her, like, but even if he has feelings for her, I think his sense of community and family as in cult family, is more important than his individual self.
Interesting. So he was like, do you feel held? He's basically trying to be like, I've always felt held. I've never felt like alone. I've never felt lonely because I have this community. And
so cultish. I hate it.
Later that night.
Oh wait, you skipped on the barbecue scene because after this you get like a really gross scene of the two other people's faces smashed up, and then they put them on this grill, and then I thought, take some barbecue. Okay,
I hate you for that. That's so fucked up. I think this is where Josh is like taking notes. He has his headphones on. I think he's like just listening to music. He's taking notes. She walks up to him and she was like, hey, can I actually no, wait, before that, Josh asks Pelle about like
yeah.
This is where I think that maybe another piece of evidence that Pelle I think is like truly interested in Danny specifically, like out of genuine interest. This is the one time where we see like Pelle fuck up because he is so frazzled about this whole Danny situation, because he originally said that Christian hadn't talked to him, but then he's talking to Josh and like he gets his lies mixed up here.
Yeah.
And basically he was like, fine, you know what? I'll ask the village elders, because I don't know how in any sort of way that maybe Pelle didn't know that Josh was going to write about this, because he knows that Josh is interested in like talking about this in his thesis, but he acts shocked when Josh is like, I'm doing my thesis on this. It's like interesting. I think it's all fake because I think they know that like Josh ain't getting out of here.
Well, this might have been like a little bit of a script flub, or maybe like some scene fell off or something. Because the whole point that all of the friends went to, like the whole excuse was because Josh was doing the research. Like it feels to me that Josh was doing the research. Pele had told him, hey, my family does this thing. And Josh was like, cool, I'll go with her. And then Pele was like, I don't know, invite some friends maybe. And then everyone invited everyone. And then Pele was like, I'm going to get Danny to be the May Queen. So I do feel like everything revolved around Josh's research thesis. So maybe the fact that Josh wanted to write about the, what did we say? What's the name of the hurling?
At a stupa.
Yeah, at a stupa and that kind of very specific things. Maybe Pele didn't think that Josh was gonna be the specific, but why wouldn't he if he was going for that? So I don't know. I think that might have been like a script. Whatever. Just should not think about it too much. Yeah. It's happening.
So Pele is finally like, you know what? Fine. I'll ask the elders. Whatever. He later basically tells Josh and Christian, he was like, y'all can do your fucking thesis here. You just can't use any names or whatever. And like, y'all have to collaborate. In the middle of this, Josh is learning about the Ruby Router, which is their like holy book. And he learns about the deformed boy who does these paintings as he's the oracle prophecy. I don't know.
Well, that happens later, doesn't it?
I don't know. We kind of like cut a lot here.
Because
I don't know if you have like the movie on the side, but
we get Danny's dream first, which I really like that dream.
That's right. So is this where she finally asked Josh here
for the sleeping pill? Yeah, the sleeping pill. Yeah.
Yes. So she's like, hey, can I borrow a sleeping pill? And then he just kind of stares at her, and then she's like, take off the headphones. And she was like, can I borrow a sleeping pill?
This is where Josh is putting two and two together. This is really like, is this a cult?
She gets the dream that they have left, that Christian and his friends have left without her, and they get like, there's this really great shot of like Mark just making a face at her, similar to the face that he's making when he's made up of straw later on. Just saying. And then she like tries to scream, but exhaust comes out of her mouth.
Yeah. You get a lot of scenes between like the elderly people, smashed head, and her mom, and like the sister with the whole whole thing.
Next day, Simon and Connie are planning to leave. Yeah.
Around this night is where you also see Maya putting the love doll thing under Christian.
Yes. Yeah.
And Josh sees that.
Yeah. And he takes it, which I'm like, I don't know. Maybe don't fuck with their process. Maybe.
Don't touch the voodoo doll.
Exactly. Leave it the fuck alone. Next day, Simon and Connie are planning to leave. Connie is ready to go. She like grabs the bag, but she's told that Simon went off with another villager to the train because, you know, they don't break the traffic laws. And there's only...
Which I thought was really funny. You can murder people. Don't break the traffic laws.
Yeah. Traffic laws. That's too far. That's where the line is drawn. It's really great, though, because they're able to successfully play on the fact that I think earlier we learned that Simon and Connie have not been together for a long time. They've been together for they're kind of like us, you know? They got together very quickly. They're engaged. They're about to get married, probably within the time span of 2 years. So there's not this great intimate knowledge of each other, I would say, yet, because they're able to convince her of oh yeah, Simon was fine. He'll call you from the train station. She was like, he wouldn't do that. But they kind of get her to gaslight herself into thinking that he would. So she's like, no fucking way. I'm out of here. She grabs stuff. She walks off on her own. Bye, Connie. That's the last we see. This is where I think we finally get Josh learning about the Ruby Router and the paintings. And he's like, what happens if he dies? And they're like, oh, we'll just create another incest child.
They're very specific.
Yeah, they seem to keep very great track of the bloodlines. Who would be a product of incest, who wouldn't, that sort of thing.
Around here is when Josh outs Maya that, I found this that she put under Christian. And then Pele, like a total creep, was like, my sister wants to fuck. She's done the big tick, which is the permission to mate. Creepiest wingman ever. And then Danny goes off with the women to make meat pies. I 100% think, maybe not, but maybe this is the old man, the elderly.
Interesting.
That's the meat. They're cannibal pies, right? They're cannibal pies. 100%. I think they are.
I'm open to this interpretation. However, I feel like anytime cannibalism has been shown in other forms of media, usually you can tell it's like it tastes different. And like they didn't like say anything about it tasting different. But maybe they thought it's just like a foreign food.
Well, because you didn't see cows, you see sheep. And I'm like, all right, could be sheep. So sheep is different enough that it doesn't taste like cow, maybe sheep, but
you see cows later on.
We do. We see one cow.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, but before they call her in to ask if she wants to help with the meat pies, you see she did take the thing that Pele was trying to get her to sniff earlier to calm her down. And she's like walking around. This is also where she's walking around and we kind of get this cut to like all the different people of like you hear the scream. And then
yeah. Nobody acknowledges it.
We're all kind of, okay, whatever.
That's Connie, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah. Florence Pugh, Danny goes in to make the meat pies. We see a special meat pie laid off to the side.
Pew pie.
Note of that. Yeah, the pew pie. Also here, whenever Josh is looking at the paintings, he asks to take a photo of them. And the elder who he's talking to is like, fuck no, don't fucking do that shit. Like, gets like really sensitive of like, no. In the midst of this, Mark is like, I gotta go take a piss. And does the most stereotypical man thing where it's like, just go to a fucking outhouse. But no, he goes and pees on a tree. And that is where they like scatter the ashes of the elders' like bodies across this ancestral tree. And so Ulf, another villager here, freaks the fuck out and is just so pissed off that he's like pissing on the tree.
This reminds me of like the videos of, you know, people go exploring and then they find like old coffins and stuff, and there's a couple of them that they go off to the wilderness and like they're in this river and like, oh, they found this old jar thing and what is this? I mean, then they start cleaning it and then they start like dumping it out and then they turn it around and it says like the date of the deceased and like, holy fuck. Just gonna leave it here. No, when I die, just cut my ashes, whatever. I don't care. Don't keep them. Make meat pies out of me. Ash pies.
It's funny because later on, it's like Danny, Christian, and some other guy. And I think this is when Christian's told, like, yeah, you can work on your thesis. You just have to collaborate. You have to omit actual names and the location. In the middle of this, Danny like asks, she's like, where's Connie? Did Connie like get to leave? And they're like, yeah, she did. Immediately, Christian then fucking asks about the village's mating rituals and asks if incest is typical there. She gives him the most disgusted face of all time, like Danny does. She's like, this is what you're fucking asking? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Huh? But
I think this is like the fourth time I write Jewish under Christian's name.
Yeah. There is a deleted scene that's in the director's cut right after the Arastupa where Danny and Christian have a fight, just the two of them. And it's like you can tell in this scene how smart Danny is. And like she's actually like taking notes of lots of things. Of like she like explained, because he's like, this is just their culture. And she's like, I think she kind of points out, she's like, no, they're trying to fucking desensitize us. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she like knows more than this cut of the movie implies that she knows, which is very interesting. And I'm sad that they took it out, but she sounds incredibly British when she says Christian's name.
Because she is trying to almost kind of fool herself. Because she's buying in kind of willingly. I did get that sense. I honestly forgot that she was a psych major, but I did get the sense like she was slowly buying into it because she just wanted to get away from her grief.
Well, I think that's also why Pele's argument, or like he successfully convinced her where like with the argument of like, do you feel held? Because if she truly understands like, oh my God, they're desensitizing us, they're trying to make this seem more normal than it like actually is. And then he like mentions that. And I think that like does actually, she, you know, kind of puts aside those other thoughts that she had previously. Also in that fight that we see, she's like, do you not love me anymore? She asks Christian that. And Christian goes, like, after quite a few beats, plural, of silence, he goes, what does that have to do with anything?
Oof.
Motherfucker.
I wish they could have kept that. I would like that scene.
I definitely understand why they cut it out from the original movie, because I think it does reveal too much of like her inner like workings, and like it leaves it less ambiguous, and it also leaves their relationship less ambiguous, because like at that point you can tell like she basically over him and they're over each other.
Yeah.
But they go and eat, and they're eating their meat pies, and
this is where you get that pube.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, is that a pube? He's like, nah, that's probably not. And then you also see his drink is darker than everybody else's because part of this love spell that Maya's trying to put on him involves putting menstrual blood in his.
I didn't notice that until you just said it, but I remember the painting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody else
Gross.
looks like they're drinking like a banana smoothie, and his looks like a grapefruit smoothie. Like it's like that much darker.
Don't say smoothie.
I know. But somebody I love the phrase spiked with menstrual blood. Crazy. Like just like, yeah, it's spiked with period. Nuts. Anyway.
Okay, we can move on now.
Hold on, there's another letterbox review
a little
that I have
chunky.
to read. Yeah. I love this letterbox review. Babe, you okay? You've barely touched your pubic hair pie.
I thought that when he was like, this has been a horror movie, and there are some horror movie tropes, and we're gonna get into one in a few seconds. But when he takes out like I thought he was gonna grab a fingernail, like a human fingernail or something, and like cut. No, cut it. Well, then I saw hair. Like, is that hair? And then I thought that hair is white. I think that's an old man hair. It's an old man pubes, but no,
it was definitely red. But also during this, they were talking about how Simon left without Connie, and Danny goes to Christian. She goes, I could see you doing something like that.
Yeah, damn.
Not feeling very held by Christian, are we now, Danny? Huh? And he was like, what is that supposed to mean? And she was like, never mind, don't worry about it. So then he like starts fucking angrily eating, and like nobody else is eating, but he just like fucking takes a bite. That's why he gets the pubic hair. Ulf is making fucking daggers at Mark, and he's like, oh my fucking God, is he gonna kill me? And then a lady villager that he's already been making eyes at is like, come with me. They 100% fuck.
Horror? Nah. I don't think he got that lucky. Because horror movie rule number 1, don't say, I'll be right back. And what does he say? I'll be back, I guess.
Yeah. The reason why I do specifically think that they fucked is because new blood, new seed. Like they have to bring in. They know that they're not going to keep him. I don't think they did
the whole
this
ritual.
I don't think they did the whole ritual. I think they kind of like, fingers crossed, we'll see if it works.
Is she the one that he said that he wanted to give her a bath? Because then yeah, they probably fucked. Yeah.
And I think it's also the way that later on he's skinned, there's stuff going around his crotch. Where it looks like maybe they cut off his penis, or like, I don't know. It was weird. Later that night, we see Josh give another sleeping pill to Danny. And then he like goes to bed, but he leaves his sneakers on. I thought, this is where like I agree with you. I was like, oh, he's about to like run away. Like he's about to get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, he's putting 2 and 2 together. And when he sneaked out to take pictures, very stupid of him because leaving the flash on, like dumb.
Bro, yeah.
And there's clearly a window in front of you. I thought like, oh, he's trying to, he knows something bad is happening. He knows he needs to go away, but he's also trying to get evidence for his either. I don't think he's doing it for the police or anything. I think he's doing this for himself, for the paper. Like he's being selfish.
Yeah.
Like truly, because I think at this point he could have told his friends, something's happening. I think Connie and Simon disappeared. I don't think they left.
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's definitely doing it, but especially since now like Christian is like involved. I think he's trying to get like a competitive edge over him by having photos of the Ruby Rotter. While this is happening, we see like a villager come up, and he thinks it's Mark because it's somebody wearing Mark's face. Then he gets bludgeoned. That's absolutely Pele that like bludgeons him, like 110%.
Yeah, who's wearing Mark's skin? Is that
sure Ulf.
Oracle?
No.
I thought it was the Oracle.
It couldn't be the Oracle because the Oracle, one of the Oracle's eyes is like closed shut.
Oh yeah, it's true. Next time you go to the DMA before it disappears, go to the Aztec exhibit, like the Mexican and the Mexican Maya and Aztec exhibit. There's an Aztec warrior there. It's a statue, and it's remarkably similar to the Mark suit because the statue is of a warrior wearing his enemy's skin as armor against the enemy's tribe. So can you imagine? Like Aztecs were fucking ruthless.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can see like the stitches of the skin in the statue.
Oh God.
Wild.
Yeah. The next morning, Danny, Christian, and Pele, I think it's after breakfast, are all putting like their silverware away. They're told that Ruben, the Ruby Rotter, has gone missing, and they don't know where Josh is, and they don't know where Mark is.
This is where I thought, I guess I had like a brief theory of, maybe the young generation is doing all of this weird murder shit, and the older people have no clue. And this may be a comment of like the younger generation becoming extremists and like more conservative to the traditions of their ancestors and doing weird shit, but like the elders that have no clue. Turns out, no, the elders are crazy. Also, everyone's crazy here. But this is when I thought, maybe they don't know. Maybe they actually don't know. Maybe it's just the Pele and his friends.
That's so funny. We get this fantastic moment where Christian, like, I'm not going to give him best actor ever, but this is like truly great actor at like acting of like somebody that is being like, no, he's not even our friend. Like, we don't associate with him like whatsoever. Like, he is working overtime. And Danny's just fucking looking at him like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, nah.
Just throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
We know people like this. We work with people like this. I'm not going to keep this in, but we work with people like this.
The women basically have Danny like go change into like a different dress. They're about to dance around the maypole.
I love the dresses, by the way.
Yeah, dresses are amazing. The runes that are stitched into her dress, and I think also her shoes, are runes that Pele put in the drawing that he gave her, which I thought was very interesting. She asked them, she's like, what is this tea? And they're like, don't worry about it. They tell her how to take, like, you know, when it gets served to you, you have to make eye contact. They do this like girlhood. I don't know. They do this beautiful. They're like, all the girls are making her feel really included, and like they're doing like they're helping her. It's very sweet. I've been convinced in the process of this.
I feel like you and I will totally join this cult and kill some foreigners.
I know. God, what's her name again? Civ. Civ calls over Christian. He's like, I don't know where Josh went. I don't know where the book is. And she's like, Maya wants to fuck you. You in? And we don't ever get an answer. We never know what his answer is. I think based off of what happens.
No, he says yes, right?
He doesn't, like, they don't show him saying yes.
No, you don't. But he says yes. But we don't see that.
So it's hard because a lot of times people will like talk about like, oh, they like drugged him. Like, he got assaulted. This is rape. But it's hard because he agreed to it. So it's like consent, non-consent, you know?
I think, well, yes. And I think he was somewhat the victim, yes. But also, I think he said yes because I saw a lot of guilt. I feel like there was a lot of guilt there with Danny. And he wanted to fuck Maya the moment he saw her. And the drug thing, yeah, that's kind of shady. But I think he kind of like both Danny and Christian for different reasons took the drugs and maybe not willingly, but accepted them for different reasons.
Yeah. Danny.
I do like, sorry, when Christian is in the cabin, because we cut from Danny dancing or starting the dance and then to cut to Christian in the cabin with like this beautiful black and white murals, like little drawings in the room. And we cut to foreshadowing the bear in flames drawing, which is what's going to happen to Christian.
Yeah. So the tea that she drank earlier is like shroom tea. She's dancing. They're having a great time. She like starts speaking Swedish somehow with the other women.
I love that. Yeah.
They're laughing like little girls. It's beautiful. One of my very first review of this movie that I did back in, let's see, when I first watched this movie, it was April 2021, and my review was, I cheered for Danny during the dance harder than I've cheered for any sport. I've always loved this moment. So she wins, and they crown her the May Queen, and everybody is just so happy. They're celebrating her. They like surround her. You see, because she's tripping, the flower, part of the flower crown, keeps like pulsating, kind of in line with maybe her breathing or her heart rate, which is interesting. As that people are celebrating her and congratulating her, she like gets a vision of her like mom walking in front of her, because anytime she has a trip, it's a bad trip. Also, it's kind of hard to tell. I didn't notice until I was like watching a TikTok about this yesterday, but her sister is also like walks in behind her mom too, and kind of like stands ominously next to her. Pele comes up, like surrounds her as well, and gives her a very like intimate romantic kiss, and she smiles afterwards. It's cute. I'm taking it.
No, it's fucking creepy. This is creepy cold shit, man. She also gets kissed by other people during that walk.
Not the same fucking kind of kiss, though. I
feel like this is more Pele taking advantage of a drug girl than anything else.
Okay. But before she wins, one of the other... I think she was actually the previous year's May Queen, but she gives Christian the shroom tea, and he's like, nah, I'm afraid I'll have a bad trip. She was like, this will lower your defenses. So it's like, I think he knows that she knows what he's about to do. And so he's kind of like, okay, whatever. And he like chugs it.
Because he's like not looking good throughout this whole thing.
No. The guilt is already eating him alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Danny's having fun and everything. And she's trying to connect with Christian. And he just feels like looks miserable.
Yeah. Something else that I really love about this movie. And what I really love about this commune, this cult. They don't fucking clap, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah,
I hate clapping. I hate it with a passion. I don't like clapping at all. I will snap or I will do this because in sign language, this is like clapping. But the act of actual clapping, I never do it.
Why?
I just don't enjoy
it. You don't like the sound? I
don't like the sound. I don't like how it feels on my hands after a while. Like if I do clap, it's a golf clap. Like I never do a full clap. My hands start hurting. I don't understand how at the film festivals they be clapping, doing a standing ovation for like.
I'd be clapping a lot. I like to clap. I don't have a strong opinion for or against clapping. I will never clap in front of you, Casey.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I will do this because I do think first of all, I can only snap my fingers with this hand. I cannot snap it with this. Look, I'm trying. I can't.
Yeah, I got this.
I don't know why.
That's so funny.
Also, fun fact: when you snap, where does the sound comes from?
It's like when it hits your palm.
Yeah, I thought it was from like this.
Oh, that's funny.
I always thought it was from this, but then I found out it was when it hits your palm. That's where the sound comes from. But I always thought it was from here. But anyway,
they put her on a pedestal, and it's really great. I love the way that she's standing on the pedestal, where it's like one foot in front of the other, and like she looks very strong and powerful. I don't know if you noticed this, but as they're walking, as they're doing this procession, she's standing, everybody else is here. In the background of the trees, once again, she's tripping. You see the trees make up her sister's face, and like there's like a line of dead trees sort of resembling some exhaust coming out of her sister's mouth. Mm-hmm.
No,
the special effects in this movie are really good.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm looking at it now. I saw the wobbly. I didn't see that. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's really cool. I thought they were going to go off to the cliff because I was still thinking that we're going to sacrifice her. And it's kind of like, oh, whoop.
Oh, that's so funny.
With the platform. Like, I'm waiting for you that, or throw her into the fire, or they're going to throw her into the middle of the table and start cutting her up and eating her. Like, I was ready for her to be sacrificed.
Okay. So saying that, it makes sense. I'm so excited for you to rewatch this movie. Knowing now that they don't sacrifice her, I think you'll see Pele in an incredibly different light. I think you're wrong. But anyway, so they take her to the table, and
I think you can see Pele and Danny as a romantic item, and then I think I can see them as not a romantic item, and that'd be okay. I'm not trying to say that you're wrong. Am I trying
to evangelize to you now?
A little bit.
Okay, I just
you're trying to convince me. You're trying to convince me that it's a romantic there, but I don't think there is. I'll watch it.
I don't care if you believe it or not. I'm mostly trying to convince you.
You keep saying that I'm wrong, so
about other things. I don't think you're necessarily like wrong about this. I think you're definitely wrong about Josh, but
that I like Josh. I can't be wrong about me liking Josh. I like Josh. He's not a good guy.
Josh is a
problem. But I like him.
But
he's definitely problematic because I think he was putting things together, and he knew it was a weird cult, and he decided stupidly. He did like the dumb horror movie trope of, you know what, I can outsmart the clearly cannibal cult here. Like, no, just fucking run away. Call the police. They had great reception. They were using their phones. They could have called someone.
Straight up. She sits, and as she's stripping, the very cool effect, she like the leaves on the chair are like following her arms, and it's
that's cool. Yeah,
very beautiful.
Subtle.
I love the guy next to her, whoever the character / actor is. I thought they did a really great job because he's just like such a sweet kind of guy throughout the entirety of this movie.
The old man.
Yeah, completely unremarkable, but he is really nice to her. So she's kind of just like sitting there. It's taking her a while. She's processing, tripping, that like she's at the head of the table. They're waiting on her. And so while she's like processing, Christian finally comes up to the fucking table. Took a sweet goddamn time. Is the last one to get there. Sits down. She like gets the silverware, and then like that's, everybody else gets the silverware. They try to give her a herring to eat. It's like part of their tradition.
That's a big ass herring. So big. Like I've eaten the smaller ones, and but they're small. You can eat them in one bite. Like they're super fucking salty. They're not for everyone.
It was so funny because once again, I've seen this movie 3 times. I always forget about this part because every single time I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, like it makes me hate them for a bit for the like trying to get her to eat it. But like they don't take it seriously. Like
that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. She gets half the tail in her mouth and she's like, I can't do it. And they're like, you did great. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Which is like has been my experience here.
Yeah.
Like every day they try to feed me fish and I say, no, thank you. And then they laugh. It's just every day.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the meal, they're like, okay, you have to come like bless our crops. And she's like, can Christian come with me?
Sacrifice, baby, sacrifice.
And she's like, can Christian come with me? And they're like, no, only the previous May Queens go with you. Or I guess not all of the previous May Queens, but they're basically you have to do this alone.
Yeah. This is something like this is something for the queens. Or yeah. But you do get right before that you get creepy Maya walking around the table and looking at Christian.
Yeah. She like nods to like, come on.
Christian with a really big
fucking
shirt.
Neckline. Yeah. Crazy. They take her to a completely different part of the commune and,
beautiful
they have
carriage.
This whole process. Yeah, beautiful carriage. They have this whole process of blessing, and she sings a song. Once again, a very beautiful thing where like she's like, repeat after me. They sing the song and then they sing it together, and it sounds really great. It's gorgeous. It's at this point.
Here, I do need to watch this again because here I'm thinking when she gets on the carriage, she's gonna light the carriage on fire, and then she's gonna be engulfed in fire. Nope, that didn't happen. And then okay. So they're gonna sing and they're gonna stab her. No, that didn't happen. I was just gonna like, when is she gonna die?
I know, that's crazy. So this is the last time. I believe this is the last time because I think we have 25 minutes left of this movie. Neither Danny nor Christian speak another word for the remainder of the movie. They make noises, they grunt, they cry, whatever, but they don't say another word.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. She blesses the crops. Christian he gets ready for taking Maya's virginity. They have him do some sniffing salts or whatever that probably gets him ready for it. He walks in. There are a whole bunch of women doing a sort of kumbaya. Maya's on the floor.
Ari Aster loves him some naked old ladies. Like there were naked old ladies in Hereditary also, which I did not like that movie. I thought it was a very silly movie.
I have never seen it.
That was his previous movie. Yeah. Good. It's fine. Like don't watch. I mean,
body positivity, I guess. So they're all fucking swaying back and forth.
Here's the thing. I don't like, and maybe it's just because of Hereditary, but a little bit here, just from Christian's reaction. I'll get a little bit. The old lady that starts thrusting Christian, just because of how Christian reacts, because of how it's framed and the lighting and the music sting. There is an attempt of a horror jump scare just based on the naked old lady physicality. And Ari Aster did this with more. Not so much here. So maybe I'm just reacting to how he did it in Hereditary. There's a lot more of like, oh no, naked old lady. Ah!
I guess like going back to The Shining. Yeah, like that's a sort of jump scare that happens in that movie.
Yeah, and it is definitely a trope in horror, and maybe that's what Ari Aster is doing. Because they're sprinkled throughout this whole movie. There are horror tropes, which I appreciated. But for the most part, the fact that was a lot of different body types and ages and it didn't feel it added to the creepiness of the swaying and the singing and all that, and just the environment in general. But I don't think he was using the physicality of the older women as a horror until that one moment. So I'm okay with this scene in that sense. Or do you think it was adding to that horror creepiness of the fact that they were all naked?
I didn't know that was a trope. So like,
okay.
I was just like, yeah, she's probably the oldest one here. It's her job to help this like process go along.
Which I like. I'm just concerned like this. Do you I used to follow the Instagram or was it Instagram or TikTok? I think it was Instagram. Legs or hot dogs?
Yes.
That thing with the version, like you see the legs in front of the legs or hot dogs.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Danny comes back and she hears something going on. Automatically suspicious. She's like, "What's going on over there?" And the lady who's been like kind of walking her through all of this is like, "That's not for you. Like, come on. Like, go talk with all of the previous May Queens." But then she's like, "No, I'm gonna go check it out," and they don't stop her.
They don't stop her, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, she like checks. She looks through the door. The lady isn't fucking helping Christian thrust yet, but she sees Christian fucking in this weird ritualistic way, and immediately, because she's tripping, probably still at this moment, she like throws up. All of the girls like surround her, and they like do this. They mimic the sounds that she's making in the same way that like is going on with Christian, where like all the ladies are mimicking like the moans, and then like earlier on in the movie where they're mimicking the agony. So they're doing that. We get that shot of her crying and then them crying back to her. It's very interesting.
This is where I started crying.
Really?
I as far as she's a great crier. I don't know.
Yeah.
It really hit me. This is like, holy fuck. And I was like, why am I crying? I felt manipulated by this movie.
What did you think of it? Like, because I can see two different like interpretations of this of like, oh my God, they need to like stop touching her. They need to like get away from her. Like they need to let her be by herself. Or did you think it was beautiful that like they were?
I thought she was if I felt like Danny, Florence Pugh's Danny wanted to be alone, I would have felt, but I think she needed that. I think she fully accepted them as part of her, and they felt like they were. I mean, you joked that they're empathic. There's a lot of empathy there, but actually, I think there was a lot of empathy here.
Yeah,
and this felt very sincere, and this felt very heartfelt, and they were helping Danny. And in contrast, this movie's full of contrast. The moaning and the singing with Christian and the ladies, that was manipulation. That was creepiness. That wasn't empathetic at all. That was them trying to get him to fucking shoot out the sperm. Yeah. That's it. That's all he is. I truly believe that once he finished, they were going to stab him in the back or something. Oh, like I wrote here, oh, he's dying now. At this point, I'm like, oh, Danny's not dying. I'm like, I don't think Danny's gonna die. I think like I'm like, she's gonna be part of this now.
Yeah. Well, I think it also goes to show like her, like she leans in to them mimicking her. That freaks Christian out, right? So kind of like they both have different perceptions and reactions to it. Also, at the same time, I do, whether or not good intentions, bad intentions, at the surface level, I think the scene is also really beautiful in the sense of like she is probably like the only people that she's probably been hanging out with are like Christian and his friends. And like, I mean, even the fact that Pele is like the one moment he tries to empathize with her before this trip, it freaks her out. Like she has not been in a space to like process. Or like, I mean, she has a therapist, but like she hasn't had like peer-to-peer like sort of grieving, it seems like. And it's like she finally has this. Like this is all fucking pent up. Like everything is coming out at once.
Yeah, but and like found family, yes, but I think it's still her. See, I don't think she's gonna become codependent with that cult the way Pele is. I think Pele needs that cult, and he's part of it 100%. I think she can choose to leave or not. I think that's why it's ambiguous. Like it's not 100%. Oh, she's definitely staying. She's part of it, probably. But also, to my sense, she became her own person and fully independent, and she can say or not, whatever. And it's fine. And I think the cultists are like, yeah, you can leave. You won't say anything because
I do believe that like by the end of this movie, I like to also believe that if she wanted to leave, they probably would have let her. because I think that they all ended up really liking her. And I think that they realized like she probably wasn't a threat.
She learned Swedish in a day, so
yeah, you know, she's in it. So we have that that moment. Christian finally climaxes and then freaks out. Originally in the script, it was planned that he would put the robe back on before he runs out, but it was the actor's idea that he runs out naked, which I thought was really great because it's incredibly vulnerable.
It was mm-hmm. And this is kind of also maybe a horror trope of like, but it's more like not so much because the rest of them has been like 80s, 70s, 80s horror trope. This is more like I'm thinking of Hannibal and Red Dragon and like more of these hardcore horror where there's like, oh, you're gonna see some naked man as a shock value, and this was done for shock value. Or anything else.
I forgot one of my favorite moments is earlier. So after she wins May Queen and like they're all at the table and then Christian finally comes and sits down after everybody else taking his sweet ass time. He turns to the old man next to him and he goes, "What's happening?" And the guy claps right in his face because
and everything.
He's like, everything like ripples. And Christian goes, "Why did you do that?" Like on the brink of tears. And then the guy, I think, signals to Maya, and then Maya gets up and is like, "Come on, Christian, let's go fuck." And I just thought that was really funny.
Now, I don't know if the old man actually did that or was Christian kind of just looking at the old man and that's what he imagined. That could have been either.
I definitely think he did it specifically because like later on, like they snap in Christian's face.
I'm just saying because when I accidentally got really high that one time, he was convinced that he was yelling and being belligerent and screaming at all of us, and he was
so funny,
so quiet.
That's hysterical. So as he's freaking out and running around, he ends up discovering Josh's leg buried in the dirt, freaks out, and then he discovers Simon's corpse being used as a blood eagle, which is basically they sever your lungs out from your body, but you're technically still alive.
Which it's supposed to be a Viking type of medieval torture. Mm-hmm. Turns out there's not actual evidence that really happened. It's more of like a myth and legend. Mm-hmm. So could it happen? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think in the myth that the victim is alive. I think this is just a thing for the movie, which is horrific. Mm-hmm. But this is one of the things that Ari Aster also did for Hereditary of like, are you just doing this for shock value? Like in the sense of the cult and like, okay, what is the ritualistic meaning behind this? Like, are you just adding things just to be horror and creepy? You are kind of mixing Viking things because Swedish is not really a Viking culture, or I might be mistaken. Please correct me, anyone, if I'm mistaken. But I don't know. I feel like this could have been a combination of trying to add to the horror, trying to add to like the foreignness of this culture. To did you think this was necessary, or do you think it was kind of like a extra?
I thought it was extra, but like not in like a. I didn't think it was too extra. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, because I think it was a nice little like touch of just something a little bit like to keep freaking people out. I do think it's interesting because like they put Josh in like the garden, and then they had this guy with like the chickens, and then Connie looks like she's been drowned. So it seems like they're kind of like sacrificing or making these sacrifices for different like aspects of
I didn't
their
get
like
that
life cycle of like getting a water blessing, getting I don't know, chicken blessing, whatever.
Chicken blessing.
A livestock blessing.
Livestock blessing, yeah. No, I like chicken blessing. I did think that Josh's foot sticking out of the garden was really funny and silly.
It was so silly. I loved it.
With the rune marked over the foot. Here, likes Josh.
Yeah, loved it.
I did like when they knock out finally Christian with a powder thing, and he kind of falls on the side. And you see from Josh's point of view, you get the creepy the father, and you just see he boops the camera. Boop.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed in the crack in the door, there's Pele looking at Christian.
Oh.
And then also there's another crack in the background where the lady who was leading the May Queen dance is also staring. So like a lot of people are watching Christian having his fucking crash out and getting the powder blown into his face. Next we cut and somebody's like snapping their Christian. And then she like manually opens up each eyelid. So cool.
I know. Creepy as fuck because he's truly paralyzed.
Yeah.
Great acting by this guy.
Yeah. And she's like, don't try to move. You can't move. And I was like, God damn. And then everybody is like kind of surrounded. And then we get the whole thing of like, these sacrifices have been made. We've taken 4 of the new people. We've taken 4 of our people. Now is the time to decide like who is the 9th person going to be. Our May Queen gets to decide. They do a lottery sort of bingo thing where everybody has a different rune associated with their name. They like fucking spin it and it comes out. So it's like the May Queen can either decide between Christian or between this other guy from the village. She chooses Christian.
Did you think, I was kind of like, maybe, I don't know where the ending of this movie is going forward with, but I thought maybe she chooses the other guy and then chooses to forgive Christian, and maybe he lives, maybe he doesn't, but she still kind of sets free. I'm also okay with her choosing Christian and him dying, because it was really fun to see him in the bear suit.
Yeah.
We did forget to mention that at this point, Danny is in this pile dress thing of flowers and like a huge crown. Like you just see Florence Pugh, tiny head, and just flowers everywhere.
Yeah.
She looks miserable in there.
At this point, though, she is no longer tripping. And I am fully convinced of this because the flowers aren't moving, aren't reacting. Everything is still. And I think she's fully sober, but probably incredibly traumatized and probably disassociating yet again. She chooses Christian, as she should. And then we see the bear dead. They disembowel it. They put Christian in the bear suit.
And then he says, I thought they smell bad on the outside. Kendall's going to laugh at that. It's a Star Wars joke. When they open up Tauntaun and then Luke goes into a Tauntaun. You've seen episode 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Also part of the people getting sacrificed, Ingmar and some other guy. They're 2 living volunteers. Oh, it's Ulf. Ulf and Ingmar. And then we also get, like, Pele been rewarded, and he has this amazing green, like, crown made of, like, leaves and stuff. Very, very cool. So they place all of the corpses. Now all of them have been made up of like hay, essentially.
Is his brother Ingrid or whatever, like the one who's getting sacrificed? That his brother, the one that brought
Simon and Connie.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what he was. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I did like that. You see when they're bringing all of the corpses and they're like stuffed. It's just the skin and it's stuffed with like hay and stuff. Mark has like the fool's hat.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
it.
You can hear the little bells ringing as they're like
mean, but accurate. But mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because earlier they were like, "What game are the kids playing?" And it's the game that they were playing was Skin the Fool. Damn. Full circle, baby.
Literally.
Yeah. So they set Christian up. They set everybody else up in there. They give Ingmar and Ulf. They're like, I think to Ulf, they're like, here, this is from the yew tree so that you feel no pain. And then to Ingmar, they're like, this is from the yew tree. Yule tree? I don't know. So that you feel no fear.
He does feel pain, though.
Yeah, they set the thing ablaze. Ingmar, absolutely terrified of his fucking mind. Ulf feels a shit ton of pain. So obviously, it doesn't fucking work. And you hear some screams come from the Christian and the bear suit as the flames are coming up, and he gets burned alive. Danny has a complete fucking. She's screaming. She looks like a slug.
I wrote down Caterpillar Danny.
It's so funny. She reminds me of the bitchy secretary in Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just looks
Mike
so...
Wazowski.
Yeah, she looks so slug-like to me. She's like heaving, breaking down, like so upset. But I think that's before they hear the screams from inside. The screams happen inside. Everybody else, they do their little empath thing, and then they start screaming and thrashing and freaking out because they hear the screams from inside the teepee that's set ablaze. She calms down. Teepee goes up in flames. She smiles. And she looks exactly like the sun from the start of the movie that is in the painting and in movie.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So did she become the literal May Queen and stayed, or did she leave?
I think she absolutely stayed. She has nothing to go back home to.
No, but I think she has the freedom to either stay or leave. And I think that's kind of the lesson here of she found freedom and she found herself. Like I think it's more the found family. I think she found herself, and this is where I tell you, like I had to stop. Like I'm looking at it and like I feel like here crying. But like I had to stop the movie and then like few moments of silence, went for a walk, and then started doing things.
That's so funny.
I really enjoyed this movie. I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I thought I was going to. I don't know, because I didn't like Hereditary, and I didn't like the I don't like movies that it's more about the metaphor than the plot, or like the story kind of gets thrown out of the way for metaphor's sake or for symbolism's sake. I think this movie did a great job of writing the line of it's very symbolic, it's very purposeful, but it has a good entertaining plot. I was entertained throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to do awards?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we got 3 awards. We got Best Actor Ever, Worst Actor Ever, Best Scene Ever. Casey, who's the best actor ever?
I'll give it to Florence Pugh. It's like an easy one. She kept me engaged throughout the entire thing for sure.
Oh man, I have to give it to Florence Pugh also. I was gonna give it to Jack Reynor, Christian. Especially at the end, he did like really great subtle acting, but Florence Pugh wailing and all of that, just so guttural and so emotional. Okay. Florence Pugh gets both awards. Worst actor ever.
So I'm giving it to this man named Lennart R. Svensson. Mostly because he looked more like a banker than like a member of the commune. So that's not really on him. That's more of a casting decision that I disagree with. But
where does he appear? Where is he?
He's like one of the elders. He's not like the main one with the beard that like teaches Josh about the Ruby Rotter, but he's like one of the other like main.
Okay, he's just around.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at him now. I'm gonna give it, and this is extremely random. So she doesn't even. I can't see. I don't know the actor's name. So right when the 2 elderly jump from the cliff, and you get the first elderly woman jumping, and you get the reaction of Simon and Connie are fucking freaking out, and there's this one heavyset woman that looks like she got a different direction from everyone else. Because everyone's kind of like more engaged with the ritual than the 2 people freaking out, and they're like kind of like, what? But they're like more like looking up. And this one, Kevin said, lady, it's in the forefront. She's in front of like of Connie and Simon, and she's literally like looking around like the John Travolta confused meme. She's literally doing that. She's like, huh?
That's so funny.
Yeah, just like, hysterical. Oh, she's getting it. It's amazing.
That's so funny.
I love when extra are extras. Like they're like, I love it. That's my first favorite thing to. I mean, this worst actor ever is best actor ever, but it is worst actor ever for me.
I love that. Amazing.
Best scene ever.
The May Queen dance for sure.
Yeah. Oh man. Weirdly, I'm gonna give it to, and I don't know if they can count this as a scene, but I'll say a sequence of the initial sequence of Danny and Christian in the city. And the whole thing of her being codependent of Christian, and then she like, no, like all the way up to Christian saying, I invited her, but not really. Like, I don't know if that counts because it's a bunch of scenes, but it's a whole sequence. But I love like how it's so... I mean, it's not mundane because of the tragedy, but it's so relatable and normal what's happening. And it's immediate how Ari Aster wants you to feel about each individual character. You immediately feel a lot of sympathy for Danny. You immediately think Christian is a douche. Immediately Pelle is creepy. Immediately Mark is a douche but funny. He that's when I wrote down, oh, Mark's going to die. He's going to be the first one to die. And then Josh was the kind of detached one, and like you immediately got the personalities of the 5 main people. So maybe I'm cheating because it's not really a scene; it's a sequence. But I like that first initial sequence. So Casey, very important question, solely based on this movie: was 2019 the best year ever for movies?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Hell yeah! Wee!
I wonder if we're going to go ever to 2019. I wonder if we're going to go to like a very recent year.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a special episode. We're going to continue with The Matrix next. But again, our schedule is uncertain. We just wanted to get this out during Midsommar because I've never seen this movie and I am very close to Sweden and I'm experiencing the midnight sun. And I am very tempted to join a cult. So I'll keep you updated on that front,
Perfect.
Casey. But till then, we'll see you next time with The Matrix. Bye.
Bye. Would you join this cult with me and Jesus? Let us know and find us at bestyearever_pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky, and leave us a comment or send us a message. Or you could send us an email at bestyeareverpod@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe on all your preferred podcast listening platforms.
My favorite quote from The Office is from Creed, that he says like he's in part of a cult, both as a leader and a follower. As a follower, it's more fun, but it's more lucrative as a leader.